Courage the Cowardly Dog is a well-known animated television series that aired on Cartoon Network from 1999 to 2002. The series was created by John Dilworth and his production company, Stretch Films. The show centers around Courage, a small and easily frightened dog who lives with the older couple, Eustace and Muriel Bag, in the middle of nowhere, a fictional town in this series' universe. Courage the Cowardly Dog is known for its dark and twisted humor. The series makes use of many horror and sci-fi TV tropes, including supernatural creatures, mad scientists, and haunted houses, in order to create a surreal and unsettling atmosphere. Another way the show uses dark humor is through the form of satire and parody. The show often pokes fun of various aspects of American culture, including consumerism, mass media, and the government, with the help of its various characters and plot lines. One of the most memorable episodes of the series is Freaky Fred, which is the perfect example of how the show manages to balance humor and horror. The episode centers around Fred, who's Muriel's nephew, and a barber that visits the farmhouse in nowhere. While in the hallway trying to fix the bathroom lock, Eustace tells Courage about how Fred is a freaky barber that owns his very own barber shop where freaky things happen. This conversation implies that Fred's shop has gained such a negative reputation that rumors about it have started to spread far and wide, and somehow the negative rumors have spread to nowhere.
The freak's a barber, a freaky barber with his own freaky barber shop where freaky things happen, freaky barber things.
Fred has just arrived to the Bad's house after being dropped off by the bus. At first glance, you can tell something is off about Fred, as his appearance is nothing but creepy. His hair is a sickly yellow color that looks messy and matted together, as if he hasn't showered in weeks. His smile is wide and crooked and disturbingly out of place on his face. Combine this with his slender, lanky body and his green and droopy eyes, his whole demeanor just gives off a sinister and eerie vibe. Muriel asks Fred what made him want to pay them a visit in the middle of nowhere. Fred simply replies,
"Holiday."
Muriel invites Fred to sit down in the living room and introduces him to Courage.
Come and meet Fred.
That's when my tired eyes beheld a doggy dog. Like dog he spelled. D-O-G is what he spelled, and that's how I spell naughty.
Courage notices a wristband on Fred's wrist that says Home for Freaky Barbers with a contact phone number on it. He then tries to tell Muriel, but she ignores him and tells Courage to show Fred to the bathroom so he can freshen up after his long trip. Courage makes a fuss and says he doesn't want to do it. Muriel tells him to stop being rude, and Courage agrees to do it, but
I won't like it.
While this is happening, Eustace decides to go to a hardware store to get extra parts in order to fix the bathroom door. But before he leaves, Muriel tells him to give Fred some fresh towels. And now in the hallway, Courage is nervously waiting outside the door after escorting Fred to the bathroom. Eustace throws the towels at Courage and purposely throws him inside the bathroom, slamming the door shut and locking them inside. A concerned Muriel enters the hallway and Eustace tells her that the door slams shut and leaves. Muriel tells Courage and Fred not to worry, Eustace will be back as soon as possible to fix the door. But little does she know, Eustace is using this as an excuse to get away from interacting with Fred. Courage and Fred are now alone in the bathroom. Courage has his back against the door, trembling while trying to get the door unlocked. Fred is sitting on the toilet, just staring at Courage with a wide grin on his face.
Naughty. Courage. Your hair.
Fred tells Courage a story about how he discovered his obsession over hair. During his childhood, when he got a pet hamster, Fred describes his pet's fur as a hypnotizing sensation that filled him with joy, and that looking at the little pink fuzzball triggered something inside him. The next thing you know, Fred got a little bit
naughty.
Courage tries to hide in the toilet, but Fred finds him and pulls him out and begins to reminisce about the time he spent with his former girlfriend, Barbara. He begins to describe how much he loves Barbara and her hair. They had a stable relationship until one evening Fred got a little bit
naughty.
Fred continues to monologue about Barbara breaking up with him while simultaneously shaving off Courage's fur.
But in this case, I realized she needed space.
After shaving his love's hair completely bald, Fred says,
I never more was naughty. Well, maybe not never.
A clueless Muriel knocks on the bathroom door, asking is everything okay, and says she brought them pancakes. Hands of a panicked Courage are seen at the bottom of the door, but Muriel sees this and thinks Courage really wanted the pancakes she made. Fred grabs Courage and stuffs his face with pancakes while shaving the bits with his clippers. Courage grabs his wristband before he noticed, and Fred begins to tell a story about how he relapsed. One day, a man with a long beard came into his barber shop. Fred says he has never seen hair like that before and couldn't resist the temptation and shaved all the man's hair off. Some unknown time later, Fred was committed to the home of Freaky Barber's mental institution.
His bangs, they sang. His neck, it beckoned. Eyebrows, armpits, all were reckoned. Soon I figured, what the heck, and guess how I was naughty.
Courage quickly calls the number that was on the wristband. A few minutes later, the sound of sirens can be heard in the background, and Fred stands up to look out the window. Fred has on his usual smile, but begins to let out a sigh as he remembers he will have to return to the mental institution. The orderlies forcibly enter the bathroom and restrain Fred in a straitjacket. They lead him out of the house and into a van with a padded interior. Despite the situation, Fred continues to smile and looks back at the farm as he wishes everyone a farewell.
With love, Fred.
There are a few fan theories surrounding Freaky Fred's character. Some fans believe that Fred may have split personality disorder, where he would switch from a friendly and harmless persona to a more disturbing and unsettling one when triggered. This theory suggests that his freaky persona is a separate personality that takes over. Some fans have also speculated that Fred's disturbing behavior may also be the result of childhood trauma or abuse. This theory suggests that Fred was probably mistreated by either his parents or another caregiver, which caused him to develop his haircutting obsession as a coping mechanism with the trauma he had to endure. Another fan theory is that the Fred episode and the character is an analogy for pedophilia. For this theory, let's take a look at some of the previous scenes. From the start, Courage, who's the victim in this episode, was the only one from the beginning who recognized the danger and responded accordingly, while the adults either didn't recognize how dangerous the situation was. Take Muriel, for example, who was pretty oblivious throughout the whole episode, and Eustace, who eagerly traps Courage in the room with Fred because he thought it was funny and then leaves. Now Courage, a small and helpless person, is trapped in a room with an adult who lacks self-control. Fred then proceeds to forcefully remove Courage's fur while the motherly figure listens from the other side of the bathroom, unaware of the situation. The forced shaving scene has also been compared to sexual assault by fans, and throughout the episode, he narrates with a creepy children's song that can be heard in the background. Fred also has a tendency to speak in a rhyming scheme, similar to the writing style of Dr. Seuss, and is often using the word
naughty,
which can have a sexual connotation. Eventually, Courage managed to reach a phone and calls the authorities. While nervously waiting for them to arrive, we're shown a scene where Fred invites a naked Courage to come sit on his lap, but luckily, the authorities arrived in time. Whichever fan theory might be true, it's pretty clear that Fred has a mental disorder by the fact that he was put in a mental institution on more than one occasion. I'm TzuNamii. Thanks for watching.